Saint Teresa of Jesus. Saint Teresa of Ávila, Virgin and Doctor of the Church. Birth and early life. Date and place of birth. Saint Teresa was born on March 28, 1515. In Ávila, Spain. Family background. She was the third of 9 children in a deeply devout Catholic family. Her father, Alonso Sanchez de Cepeda, was a wealthy man of converso Jewish-Christian descent, and her mother, Beatriz de Humada, was a pious woman who fostered faith and prayer in the household. Teresa displayed intelligence and a spiritual inclination from an early age. She experienced mystical visions as a child and longed for a life entirely devoted to God, called to religious life. At age 20, Teresa entered the Convent of the Incarnation in Ávila. Seeking a life of prayer, penance, and devotion, she faced difficulties early on, including illness, strict discipline, and spiritual dryness. Yet, her determination to deepen her relationship with God never wavered. Teresa experienced profound mystical visions and ecstasies throughout her life, which she carefully discerned with spiritual guidance, reform, and founding of monasteries, witnessing the laxity in many convents. Teresa felt called to reform the Carmelite order. Her vision was to return to a stricter, contemplative life of poverty, simplicity, and prayer. In 1562, she founded the convent of St. Joseph in Ávila, the first of the descalced, barefoot Carmelite convents. Over her lifetime, Teresa established 17 monasteries in Spain, emphasizing prayer, silence, community life, and devotion to Christ. She collaborated closely with St. John of the Cross in reforming the male branch of the Carmelite order. Writings and Doctor of the Church. Saint Teresa was a prolific writer and a spiritual teacher. Her most famous works include The Way of Perfection, Guidance for Prayer and Interior Life, The Interior Castle, a masterpiece describing the soul's journey toward God through 7 mansions of spiritual growth, The Book of Life, an autobiographical account of her mystical experiences and spiritual insights. In 1970, Pope Paul VI declared her a Doctor of the Church, recognizing her profound theological and spiritual insights into prayer, the soul, and union with God. She was the first female Doctor of the Church. Death. Saint Teresa of Jesus died on October 4, 1582, in Ávila, Spain, at the age of 67. She was canonized by Pope Gregory XV in 1622, alongside other great Spanish saints such as Saint Ignatius of Loyola and Saint Francis Xavier. Lessons from her life. 1. Deep prayer as the heart of faith. Teresa teaches that a life intimately united with God through prayer transforms ordinary life into holiness. 2. Courage and reform. Her determination to reform the Carmelite order reminds us to pursue God's vision even in the face of criticism or obstacles. 3. The value of interior life. She emphasized that true spiritual growth comes from cultivating the soul's interior, not just external observances. 4. Perseverance and humility. Despite physical weakness, illness, and opposition, she persevered with humility and trust in God's guidance. Question for meditation: am I willing to cultivate a deeper interior life of prayer and union with God, allowing Him to transform my heart, priorities, and actions just as Saint Teresa of Jesus did?